Good evening, guys, and welcome to another instalment of Racing League Hub, RLH. And it's C1 tonight. The top tier of our Formula One leagues enters the final round at Brazil, and we've already got cars coming out of the pits. The championship may already be wrapped up, but for first and second, but there's a bit of a fight on for third and fourth place, with 11 points separating Prins and Wesley as we go into this final race. There's also a pretty mammoth scrap on for 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, potentially even 10th with Mamba there. So, and a lot of the minor positions as well yet to be decided. So there's definitely scope for people to move themselves a little further up the table before the end of the season. And we've got some constructive standings for you as well. We've got Williams sealed at the top, a complete opposite end to F1 2020, of course, and they are on 330 points, with Ferrari securing second place on 229. Racing Point have a bit of a fight on their hands with Mercedes. It's 158 and 147 in that little fight, and then we have got one hell of a fight on for 5th, 6th, 7th, and probably even 8th as well. We've got Renault on 96, AlphaTauri on 83, we've got McLaren 82, just 1 point behind, and then Alfa Romeo on 77. We've then got the Caterham reserve team in 9th place on 46 points, and the Haas and Red Bull Racing with the Manor reserves rounding out those 12 teams we've managed to have over the C1 season. And we've got a little bit of news coming in from the drivers, as we'll try and catch up with them in a minute, having just been through the standings. We have Prince Killer telling us it is dry for the first half of the race and rain at the end, so that could spice things up just a little bit. We've seen, of course, races before in 2008 and 2012 heavily influenced by a little bit of late rain, so hopefully get something as exciting as those. And we'll get the stream up as well so we can see any comments you may have. We got one from Phil. Good evening. That's way too polite for you, Phil. You sure someone's not got your phone? So, cars on track, and we've probably got cars on laps, and we've got Justice on a flying lap coming through sector 2 now, in the tight, twisty middle part of the lap. A little bit of a lock-up, but still gets it nicely turned in. We'll get some data on for us as well, so we can see what time they've set their best laps on, and therefore we'll start the race on, of course, and get some lap delta and a track map as well, so we can keep up with all the action. And if I can find how to hide that again, there we go. So just as now coming through the flat out run to the line, all you got to do is keep turning a little bit left and scrub off as little speed as possible. He's going to go across the line. Is it going to be a provisional pole? No. Steady first lap for him with just a 1:07.7. Slots in just ahead of Chalkers by 2 1/1000ths. Let's see who else we've got. We've got Prince Killer starting a lap then. So we will go on board with the man who finished currently third, as we said, in the championship, sticking on that tight line through turn 3. So he's got to fend off Wesley, who is here tonight in the Racing Point. He's currently sat in the pits, having not set a time. A little bit of oversteer there for Prince, as Shabby set the fastest lap, which appears to have glitched and remains on screen. But Yari has, and I think Prince has, Prince may have invalidated by running a little bit wide there. So Yari's gone fastest now on a 1:06.6, and yeah, that definitely has glitched on the bottom of the screen there. And we've got Chemgozen coming up the final sector now, up the hill, and he's going to come across the line. And I thought he was coming into the pits though. He stayed very tight to the wall on the left hand side, goes across in 6th place. Slots into that very tight midfield at the moment, just behind Brent, and just ahead of Alex and Tenkate. So, that's the first runs over and done with then, for the majority of the field anyway. Prinz is going again by the looks of things, so he must have been carrying a bit of fuel on that lap then, to back out and go again. Does he have the DRS open? No. Why would he not have the DRS open? Surely not DRS failure in qualifying. That's very strange, because he completed the lap, but obviously obviously validated, as he has no time on the board. I'm not entirely sure what's happening with Prinz just yet. Looks like he's backed out of this one as well. Yeah, not using any of the RS either, so I'm not sure why he went for a second lap, unless he invalidated through the first corner, or first sequence of corners before the back straight. We'll try and catch someone else. He's invisible on a lap. Looks to be going pretty hard at it. DRS is definitely open on this Mercedes as he comes through turn 4. Turn 5 is just a kink of a bit of an acceleration zone. It's pretty hectic early on through there in the race, but qualifying it's easy flat. Got to be careful of invalidating on the outside curb through a tight couple of corners now, right, left, and then right again. Got to get stopped for this one, the tightest corner on the track, and then it's a downhill acceleration zone through Magullo and down into the Junkiao corner for the final real turn of the lap. It's an easy finish up the hill. Once you've got it up and running, just driving for the line. Still got that notification of Shabby on the bottom. And Invisible goes across. Where's it going to put him? Up to 5th on a 7.3, so good. Oh, a little bit wide there. Don't stick it in the wall. The track map says purple, but I know that has been known to be a little ambitious in certain areas, but at the moment, yeah, very solid lap. And most are, in fact, Shabby's now starting a lap, so let's go on board with your champion. Clear champion in the end as well. Going through the centre S's onto the back straight. Controversial last season, of course, not last season, 2019, but into the second sector, down to 4th gear. Again, try not to invalidate on that exit curb, sticking very tight to the inside. Puts him on the left-hand side for a very tricky right-hander. Gets through it nice and just perfect on the outside. Keeping 2 wheels on the inside of that white line, crucial white line, of course. And all looks pretty neat and tidy through the middle sector so far. Second sector timing beam coming up now, and he's 6/100ths up. Definitely going to be in range of provisional pole here. Taking on the flat-out blast again, sticking really close up to that left-hand wall, and goes across the line with a 1:06.5. Someone's gone faster. Brent on a 1:06.8. Very strong time there from Brent to put him in provisional 3rd place. Yari's going to come across the line. No, he's going to come into the pits on that one. Donkey Dan, we've not seen much of him so far. He's in the pits currently on a 1:07.1. Can we find anyone on a lap? Prinz Killer still needs a time, unless he's, trying to be 11th or 12th, which wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. He's actually out there on mediums at the moment, so yeah, looks like that's what he's doing. Wesley doesn't seem to be interested in qualifying tonight. Chalkers has actually done his best lap so far on a set of mediums then. P8. They'll be used mediums, of course, saying he's done 3 laps on them. So I would have thought if he's doing that many laps on them, he's probably going to stick a set of softs on at the end, so he doesn't have to start on old tyres. Prinz, big snap. As he comes out of the left-hander then into a very tight Pico de Pato right-hander. Final sector coming up. We've got no delta because he's yet to set a time. It all looks pretty steady. Smooth can be fast, but it looks a little too steady at the moment, and he looks like he's coming in. Okay, it looked like he was coming into the pits. Very strange line there. Why you'd square it off and then sort of straighten it up on the inside there, I don't know, but a 1:07.5 puts him 11th where he was. We've got Chalkers now on... Is he on a lap? He's just finished a lap. I think he's probably just finished that one, as soon as he's moved up to 3rd place. Sol Renault tonight. Chem doesn't. Not seen much of the lap, but we'll see him across the line. We won't because he's pitting. This is going well. We'll try 10k, who's a couple of tenths up in the first sector. Right up to the grass on the entry, taking as much track as he can. Again, right up to that white line on the exit. All neat and tidy through there. It's a tricky little left-hander there. The inside of the track drops away. Final tight corner, and then accelerating down the hill before he'll go back up it towards the line. Second sector time is a third of a second up. Looking good. He's a little bit wide, just missed the apex. As he comes up the hill now, we're going to see what time it'll be. I think he probably just lost a little bit there. Across the line he goes. Still 3/10 quicker, but I think there's more to come if he can just hit the apex of that final corner. Slots him behind his teammate at the moment. And we've got Yari on a lap. By the looks of things, that looks... Alright, and Wesley joins the session, so maybe there's a little trouble there. And that's possibly why we've not seen an attempt from him so far. I'd be surprised if we... well, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't before the end of the session. I think he's probably quite happy to start out of the top 10 on new tyres. And Yari is 2 100ths up, which he'll need a little bit more if he's going to take provisional pole. It's looking pretty good for Williams at the moment. Constructors sealed, of course, and front row sealed at the moment. Comes across the line. What's it going to be? He improves, and he's 3 1,000ths off his teammate. So Shabby may have set the standard this season, but Yari has definitely got the pace to match him. This is going to be a cracking race if those two can get away at the front. Got Justus now on... Has he done that on a set of mediums? Have we've got the best... Yeah, so Justus has gone a 106.7 on mediums, which could spice things up. Donkey Dan has invalidated by the looks of things. Brent's on a lap. We'll see him through the final couple of corners. Keeping it a very high gear there. 4th gear through that tight right-hander. He's just up at a massive spin and onto the infield. He's going to be reset there. Hopefully doesn't... Yeah, just trying to get out of the way. It's an unfortunate element of the Codemasters F1 games, that automatic reset to track. And he now just needs to get up and running again on the grass. And he will do that as the cars all pass. Bit of clear track for him now. And he will, of course, return to the pits. So we've got Invisible invalidated as well. Got Prinz on a lap on soft tyres. So let's see. He's definitely got some pace in him. He can get himself right up in the thick of it at the sharp end. DRS definitely open this time as he hits the just past the 100-metre board. Breaks down to 5th gear for turn 4. Keeping it just about on the track on the exit. 5's an easy one. 6, you are going to be hanging it out on the outside. Got to use all the track to be quick through there. Yep, neat and tidy. Easy to lock that inside right tyre through there. Again, as we've said, left-hander, the track falls away. It's not the easiest to get turned in. Second sector time we're about to see. Prinz will hope it's a good one. And it's 6/10 up. So that's going to put him, yeah, right up in the top 5. It's going to put him right up the order. Again, taking that tight line, cutting the pit line entry. And across the line with a 106.8. Puts him 6th, just behind Brent at the moment. Just reiterates what a good lap that was from Brent in the McLaren tonight. And a bit of a lull now. So Prinz is obviously on an in-lap. Everyone else is in the pit, apart from Wesley, who... Wesley's on a lap. Let's see what he can do. Soft tyres fitted. Going all out. Going through the middle sector again. No delta, because he's yet to set a time. This will be his final run, of course, with just 3 minutes remaining. He'll only get one crack at it. Across the line he goes, just runs out of BRS at the end and goes 7th on a 106.9. Just gets himself into the 106s. Just ahead of the 2 AlphaTauris. As we said, Prinz on an in-lap. And everyone else in the pits. just over 2.5 minutes remaining as they prepare for their final runs. Again, we'll just check for any comments. Hopefully, plenty of you interacting. We'll try and get some of them up, try and get some replies to you. Any questions, any predictions, feel free to give us them. Yari's first man out on track then. Weaving to get some temperature in those soft tyres. It will not take too much. Shabby may be having a little problem with a dodgy throttle pedal, so that's not great reading for the rest of them out there, that he may have been doing that lap with 95% throttle. So, Yari then, going around the final corner, needs to get a nice clean run as he'll try and cross the line in the fastest manner possible to start his lap. DRS, of course, already wide open, and he's going across the line now, braking as late as you dare into the centre S. Down to third gear, clipping the inside curb. Take as much of that inside curb as you can, but he's taking too much. Got sideways, and that's the lap blown, you would imagine, pretty much straight away. We'll see who have we got on a lap. We've got Shabby and Chalkers, I think, is the first man after Yari, so we'll keep an eye on him. Try and grab some... Shabby's pitted. I wonder if that's as a result of the technical issues he's having. And Chalker's half a tenth up so far. It's not going to be enough to break onto the front row. Who have we got behind? That's Brent. Try and catch as many of the laps as possible. Brent's invalidated by the looks of things. We'll go back to Chalkers in the middle sector. Still a great position to start anyway, even if you can't touch those two Williamses. He's in a very solid third place. Coming through, we'll see if he's in any sort of range. He's invalidated just on the outside there. He was 1/10 and a half up. He was going to put himself well within there. The two Williams have had enough. As we see, yeah, Shabby, of course, gone back to the pits. Yari aborted that lap with the mistake we saw. Justus is on another set of mediums by the looks of things. We'll try and find... Brent is finishing the lap, but I'm pretty sure it's invalidated. We've got a AlphaTauri. We've got the two AlphaTauris coming across the line. We're going to get 10k into the pits. So this is a bit of an anticlimax for qualifying, isn't it? I think Donkey Dan's, if that indication is right, he's invalidated as well. Not entirely sure why he came across the line. So I think that's sort of fizzled out a little bit. We've got Invisible across the line. Is he going to get himself into the top 10? He does. P9, a 107.121. And then we've got Justice across the line. Bumps himself up to third. 106.6 on, surely not, old mediums. That's incredible. Obviously had a little bit in the bag. Puts himself up onto the second row. And that is your qualifying complete. All Williams front row. Let it locked out and checked out early. Both retired before the end of the session. A couple of comments coming through. Chalkers, yeah, would have been a 0.628 apparently, which would actually have put him P3, following Justice on the last lap, of course. So, your final qualifying order, of course, then. Shabby, Yari, Justus, Chalkers, Brent, Prinz, and Wesley lining up alongside each other. And that little fight, of course, for third in the Drivers' Championship, which does, of course, come with a position on the grid for the Race of Champions next week, I believe. So, yeah, a little bit to fight for both of those. And Donkey Dan, Invisible, splits the two AlphaTauris in the end. That always seems so evenly matched. Alex and Chemgozen are going to start on fresh tyres and will probably, I would imagine, go for the mediums. take a bit of an alternate strategy, try and gain some positions. So they'll now go to the grid at the start of the formation lap, lock in any strategies. Top 10, of course, are already locked into their starting tyres, but a chance to set the starting fuel and, of course, what tyres you will go for at the stop. It's pretty marginal here between mediums and potentially hards if you have to pit early or go for an undercut or anything like that. But I think it's possible to do a fairly competitive soft medium. I think two-stop tends to be out of the window unless you get a bit of a crazy race around here. I gambled on that last night, and it was the most straightforward race of the C3 season. So, yeah. And, waiting for the drivers now, as we say, to lock their strategies in, and we'll be on the grid for the formation lap in not very long at all. Just waiting for a couple of them then. If they don't hurry up, we're going to be starting in 12 seconds no matter what. Final few drivers just locking in now. Got Prinz and Alex taking their time. Hopefully they've got everything done in time, because we are about to start the formation lap. And Alex, I believe, was one of those, out of the top 10. So he, taking his time with what tyres he's going to start on. What tyres has he started on? He's gone for the mediums as well, as has Shemgozen, as expected. So Shabby leading them round. Pretty hot pace these two Williams are setting already. They're keen to get on with things, of course. And there's your predicted pit strategy. I think most tend to go for the soft medium, so I'm sure that's what we saw last night anyway. So a bit conservative there on the predicted one-stop strategy. Probably more fitting to a 100% race rather than the 50% we are doing tonight. 36 laps of this Interlagos circuit. We've still got the fact that Shabby has set a 106.741. And it's literally staying there. Try the pause menu. No, it's still there. Right, so hopefully when someone else sets the fastest lap of the race, but that wasn't even the fastest lap for qualifying, was it? That's completely sort of, that's there for the race. I'm going to have to put up with that one. We'll get some form of hood back up. And we'll go for position change. Wesley and Donkey Down appear to have come together on the formation lap. As we wait for the final couple of drivers to get into position. We've got Shemgozen at the back, lining up now. And all the cars are now in position. And we've got 5 lights about to come on. And when they go out, we will be racing at Interlagos for the final time this season. We are underway. The leaderboard, straight away putting Brent up the top, but no, Shabby leads into turn 1. Yeri follows him, and just as I believe on those medium tyres, has managed to maintain that 3rd position ahead of Chalkers. And Brent, despite being on top of the leaderboard, is looking pretty lively in 5th place. And some overtakes potentially going on further down the field. We've got Prinz and Tenke coming close to each other, and I think we're all through pretty safely. Shemgozen on the outside, hopefully Invisible gets through things. I know he's had a bit of a fraught season, a little bit wide there. Just losing a bit of time, but everyone through safely so far. We've got Shabby there leading his teammate. He's got a little bit of a rear gunner for him, and also the fact that Justus is on those mediums, it's going to be a chance for the 2 Williams to get away and gone in this one. Into the final sector of lap 1 already. It's a hot pace as they come round. Brent is potentially lining up Chalkers for a move into turn 1 using that overtake button already, even on lap 1. So no DRS of course, but he is just dropping back. I think it's going to be an ambitious move from there. Still a chance to come into turn 4 of course, and we've got Tenke is up 3 places. So yeah, the top 6 remains as it was. 10k up, and we've got yellow flags. Oh, it's invisible. Invisible out. And we've got a VSC as well. So hopefully everyone, no contact everyone, and no speeding will hopefully keep the 11 cars we have remaining all realistically in the race, and hopefully no drive-through penalties. So yeah, what a shame to lose invisible at the start of lap 2. Yeah, remember, that's yeah, pretty much the reaction I expected. And the race neutralised then on lap 2 with this VSC. And we'll put the tyre information back up. Hopefully get back up and running pretty soon. Got some more comments coming through. Bog just asking Mamba where he is. I believe he's had some equipment issues recently, so yeah, not ready for what would have been his final race of the season. Unfortunately missing out. But do we have green flags? Yep, we're up and racing again, and Chalker's on Brent. So Brent's got ahead of Chalker somewhere, who's now trying to get that position back as they go side by side. He's on the outside into turn 1. He's surely going to get closed out there. Turn 2 is going to get very tight if they're still side by side. Brent runs it round the outside. Chalkers now, though, will have Prinz for company as he's got DRS. Lap 3, of course. Oh, that's going to get very tight. Prinz running down the inside on the grass. Brent's now defensive into 4. Chalkers all the way around the outside. Massive snap for Prinz. They're still side by side ahead as we come through 5 and 6. Chalkers just about getting that position sealed, but this is a long way from over. It'd be interesting to see why Chalkers was behind Brent. I imagine he made a mistake at some point because they weren't that close, unless Brent managed to get past him on the run to turn 4. That was pretty much as the VSC was put out. But Brent now into the final corner. He's going to get another chance at Chalkers. You imagine they look pretty even on pace, so they're probably going to be doing this for most of the race. As Brent trying to stay in that slipstream, DRS open, shabby fastest lap of the race, and it's going to be a fairly simple move in the end, but Chalkers is going to have the chance to come back at him. Hopefully it's all pretty clean. He is going to come back at him in turn 2 once again. I was about to say with the DRS himself down to 4, but no, now Brent is in a bit of a situation of do or be done because Prinz is powering past him and maybe getting Chalkers as well. That's going to be a little bit of contact. Oh, Brent's lost front wing. Unfortunately, Brent, I think that is significant enough that he'll have to make an early pit stop. May have to chuck a set of hards and hope for the best. But Prinz left to fight Chalkers by himself for the time being. As 10k and Donkey Dan, you would imagine, are going to plug themselves pretty quick onto the back of Brent. That McLaren is, yeah, definitely losing a little bit of time, losing a little bit of braking performance there as well with that front wing, of course. So let's just try and keep up with a couple of the comments. Wesley needs to finish ahead of Prinz. Yep, we've highlighted that one, but it doesn't look too likely at the moment. Wesley may have been better, as we said, not bothering with qualifying and sort of gambling on the alternate strategy. We've not seen much of the two Williams so far. They are away and gone as Brent, yeah, loses out to 10k. If you can, yeah, maybe just thinking about stretching it to the point where you can put a set of tyres on and go to the end. We've now got Prinz. Yeah, he's a little light on ERS, as is Chalkers, as you'd imagine. He's been defending for most of the race so far. So, yeah, Prinz probably just having a bit of a charge up, and he'll try again at the end of this lap. So, after that frantic start, things have finally started to settle down. We've got Donkey Dan now catching Brent, and yeah, with that damage, as we've said, you'd expect him to be passed on the next lap. Alex K, the first of the the first of the drivers to start outside of the top 10 on the mediums, just as of course up the front on those. So that is still a race to come, even though the Williams look to have this signed, sealed and delivered so far. Just as is not to be ruled out, and a lot will come down to timing of any safety cars. It could swing the balance there if they are unlucky. But Prinz, we've got Donkey Dan making a move on Brent, who pits. Brent is now in the pits. What's he going to put on? They are, can't see from this distance, they're going to be mediums. So yeah, he'll not get to the end on those, so Brent's forced himself onto a 2-stop. Prin's not close enough to Chalkers once again. So 4th and 5th is as you were. Yeah, Mamba running a little late, I think, as well. But, unfortunately not able to race tonight. So we've now got a more even split of drivers out there on mediums and soft tyres. Brent really could do with a safety car to get himself back in this, because if there was a safety car now, you'd probably see some of the soft runners in, but what would they put on? It would definitely neutralise the race and bring Brent back into it. At the moment, he's the only driver that won't be scoring a point. And we've got Alex potentially looking a little racy against the back of Wesley, and it's sometime soon. Those mediums, of course, will get better and better as this opening stint goes on. We've got Prins now coming through turn 3. He's a lot closer than he's been before. Is this going to be the move? Chalkers has covered the inside. We've seen Prins get pretty adventurous with the side of the track down there, so he's not shy of going on the grass. Goes for the outside this time, though, looking for that switchback, but it's not quite there yet. He's got a good run down into turn 6, but you'll have to be well alongside if you're going to make that one stick around the outside. Not quite, and unfortunately, he's used a lot of his ERS in doing so. So he may even struggle as we come round for another lap. Lap 7 already. Where's this race going? Wesley is just getting himself into range of the 2 AlphaTauris. So there's perhaps a little bit of a race to come there. We'll keep an eye on Prins though as he comes through the final corner. He's going to get the DRS open any time now. And yeah, he's just struggling with that ERS, of course. Really has gone to town on that in the opening laps. And just check in with our leaders. All looks pretty well at the moment. Plain sailing for Williams. But, yeah, they just need to conserve their tyres at the moment, and obviously just be aware of the fact that Justus is only 2.3 seconds behind on the alternate strategy. Chalkers is doing a pretty good job of managing his ERS. To say the Prince is in DRS range. And Wesley looks probably the most likely to make a move at the moment. He's got more ERS than Donkey Dan. And yeah, slowly moving his way towards the back of the AlphaTauri. A little bit of a slide. He, of course, is 7/10 behind. That's within the DRS range. A little bit of grass kicked up by Donkey Dan as we come into the final sector. All neat and tidy, so yeah, he will get that DRS. Is he going to be able to make a move? No overtake button being used yet. Probably just using the DRS to get himself within range, and then he'll go big on one lap in the not too distant future, because he's definitely getting onto the back of the AlphaTauri now. This is going to be a move coming in the next lap or two. Donkey Dan getting a time penalty as well on the inside of turn 2 there. But he may have just saved himself by gaining a little bit of time. But of course, yeah, will be not 3 seconds back from wherever he finishes. Wesley, DRS again. Oh, a little bit wide. Just losing a bit of time. Prins now is trying to charge that ERS. Probably just give it a break for a couple of laps and just try and sit in the DRS and use that to charge himself up a little bit. Chalkers is doing a better job of that at the moment. So Prins for that 3rd place. He's currently 3 positions ahead of Wesley. And that's more than enough for what he needs. He's 11 points clear of the Racing Point driver going into this race. So again, 8/10 is a little too much, and well, definitely, yeah, with only 17% battery left, it's going to be too much for Prins to make up. Wesley, though, is in overtake mode there, and he's going to get this move done. He's going to be on the inside by the looks of things yet. Donkey Dan doesn't bother defending that too much. As we look on the rear-facing camera over the rear wing, and ooh, yep, got pretty close, not quite contact there. As Dan himself will now get a run back at Wesley down into turn 4. Shemgosen as well has got ahead of Alex somewhere on those medium tyres. Has Alex got some damage? No, seems all okay, but he probably ran wide somewhere. He's definitely lost a little bit of time. 10K is in the pits himself, so at the end of lap 9, that's pretty early. He's put mediums on. Gives Brent some company anyway, he's just about 5 seconds behind him now. Donkey Dan wasn't able to get that position back. He now has the Renault, definitely looking pretty racy on those mediums at this point. And yeah, that's confirmed. Look, we've got just 1.6 now between Just Us up in third place and Yeri, the second of the Williams cars. Prinz will check in with him. Not close enough once again. Still struggling with that ERS. Really could do with the safety car or something to get that charge back up. As Donkey Dan and Jim Guzzen. A little 3-car train at the moment. Split strategies between them as well. So we're getting close to the time where the soft tyre runners will be thinking about a pit stop. Williams, no doubt, will be trying to stretch it as far as they can, mindful of the fact of Justice on that different tyre, the yellow walled medium tyre. As this fight for 6th, 7th and 8th is closing up nicely, as I fear it's about to be interrupted by a couple of pit stops for Dan and Wesley in the next lap or two. Chemguzzen, I'm sure, would welcome a bit of clear air and free track to maximise these mediums at the moment. Got a long way to go on them if he wants to do the one-stop medium soft. Prinz again, yeah, just happy to sit in the DRS at the moment, by the looks of things. Still, no one pitting, so just 10K. I wonder if he had a little bit of damage. We didn't see anything, didn't pick anything up, but yeah, he's got Brent not really making much of an impression, still around that 5-second mark. So yeah, Brent, unfortunately, as we've said, really needs a safety car to salvage anything today. Got DRS for Donkey Dan, but no real threat of a move by the looks of things. Prinz, again, down to next to no ERS in the middle of the lap. Joker's doing a good job so far. With some of the front runners in the championship, of course. Started out this season in C2. I believe he completed this season in C2. Was originally came as a reserve for C1 and has seemingly become a permanent fixture here. Prinz, again, not close enough. Are we going to see any pitters this lap? No, they're all cutting that pit entry. We've seen a bit of controversy already this week with drivers cutting that pit entry line, and yeah, sort of getting a little bit of confusion between whether drivers are pitting or not. But at the moment, we're all sort of waiting for a race to happen. There's a lot of cars within range, not a lot of cars making moves on lap 13 and 36. Hopefully we didn't use up all the action in the opening 3 laps. I'm sure there's still plenty to come. Still some stories to pan out. Still some positions in the championships, as we've mentioned, to close out as well. Wesley kicking up a bit of grass, taking a very tight line through that. And Justice now is within DRS range of Yari. 3 seconds the gap between the two Williams. Are we going to see either of them in? Shabby continues on. Yeah, both of them carry on for another lap. Justice though, 7 tenths behind. He's going to get DRS, of course, once again down the back straight to turn 4. 2 DRS zones on this track. Struggle to get one anywhere else, really. But yeah, Justice 8 tenths behind. No real rush to get involved with Yari. Start costing himself time to Shabby up front, who I'm sure he's got his sights on. A few of you tuning in now, so yeah, welcome to everyone who's watching us live. I know we get a lot of views post-race, but yeah, always nice to have the live viewers with us. And 7 tenths now the gap, 6 tenths now as we come through the middle sector. This is the point where the traction is critical, and I was warned soft tyres. That's where Justice is seemingly quicker at the moment. It's going to be 6/10 as they come still through the final corner. Overtake as well, engaged. Not going to be close enough, it looks like. Yeah, Yari must have. And we've got yellow flags, which is Prinz. Prinz has been off. Has he got damage? And he's in. So yeah, he is in, but I can't see any damage at the moment for the Mercedes. But that could be crucial, and I'm sure we'll see a little bit of a comment from Mamba pretty soon, because that could change the position, of course, in the Drivers' Championship. But I think it could also have an impact on the Constructors for Racing Point. Yeah, Racing Point 11 clear of Mercedes going into this then, so that's the opposite of what the situation is in the drivers between Prinz and Wesley. So yeah, they only really need to finish ahead then for the Constructors, but Wesley, I'm sure, will have a little bit of a selfish head on as well, wanting to pick up that P3 for himself. At the moment, he's still got Donkey Dan and Chemgozen right behind him, but at the moment he is still maintaining what is now 5th place, with Prinz having pitted. We've got Shabby in. Shabby in, and and just as making a move around the outside on the other Williams. Oh, and Chalkers has got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Really could have done without that. He may actually get away with it. But anyway, yeah, Justice has taken the lead. Yari potentially coming back at him, but yeah, not quite having the tyres to get that one done. So quite a few pit stops now as Wesley continues on. So he's gone for another lap on those set of softs, trying to get a bit of an overspeed towards the end of the race on fresher tyres. Chemgozen started on mediums, and Shabby is now in traffic. Chalkers with that penalty that he picked up for speeding, it might not affect him too much. With obviously he had Prinz for company, but he's sort of taken himself out of contention. Wesley was a little way behind. So have we had any further comments? Not yet. So what have we got going on then? Shabby on fresh mediums against the Renault on all the mediums. And Yari, as expected, in just one lap after his teammate. This is going to be a done deal. Probably even before the DRS zone here. Just needs to be careful that they don't make contact. You can soon have a bit of an aeroplane accident down there. But, oh, he's coming back at him by the looks of things. Into turn 1. Wesley's still going on those soft tyres. It's okay, Wesley, you're not paying for your own tyres. You can have a new set. Shabby lining him up. He's about to be through. Yeah, went defensive early, but as soon as it was obvious that Shabby had that overspeed, Wesley returning to the racing line. So, the Williams then back into 2nd place, and now only 15 seconds behind Justus in the lead, who obviously is yet to stop. And Wesley, I think, needs to be in pretty soon, because he's going to start losing some positions. Yari running ahead of Alex again. Another one who started on mediums, yet to stop. Donkey Dan. That was the penalty for track limits, I believe, wasn't it? Yeah, so Donkey Dan for track limits, Chalkers for speeding in the pit lane. But Prinz, having had that spin and pitting, finds himself now behind the AlphaTauris. 10K pitted early, of course, so he's managed to put a 4-second gap between him and his teammate. Brent is now actually on. Brent has some real company now, although 10-lap old mediums for him. Wesley's finally into the pits for what I assume will be a set of brand new medium tyres. Yeah, Brent now just 7/10 off Prinz, but will almost certainly have to pit again, so still needs that safety car. Just as 14.1 now, so the gap's come down by about 8/10. A little bit of a slide, maybe just starting to lose those tyres. Half distance now through this race, so he needs to go a little further if he's wanting to put the soft tyres on towards the end, which I'm sure he will be. You have to run 2 types of tyre, of course, in Formula 1. Wesley is... I thought we'd seen Wesley in, apparently not. So Wesley's still going actually then on those soft tyres. He's dropped behind Chemgozen, but yeah, still on track. And Justice pits. He's going to be soft tyres. So we've seen Wesley, yeah, fair enough. Wesley's gone to half distance, so Justice has to get those a long way, but they will be fresh soft tyres. So yeah, that's a pretty aggressive call from Justice. I think it needs to be if he's going to get ahead of Shabby. Why not? He's don't believe in a championship fight, is he? No, he's confirmed in second place. So why not? As I did last night, why not take that gamble? Comes out ahead of Yeri actually. So Yeri we saw forced to go a lap longer because his teammate was pitting, so that may just have cost him. But he will have medium tyres towards the end, so they'll probably hang in a little longer. Only one lap difference, of course, between them. So Chemgossen's still going, Alex K still going, Brent still going, having pitted around lap 6. But, yeah, Justice wants to get going here on these soft tyres, and I imagine it's not going to take much doing. No way through into the final corner, but he'll quite happily take the DRS onto the pit straight. I'm sure we're going to see a move completed. He goes for the outside, not wanting to use any overtake. Finally has to, just to make sure he gets that move completed. He'll have a lot more braking performance on those brand new softs, and puts a car between himself and Yari for now. So Chalkers on with that 5-second penalty has, what's that, about a 7.5 second gap to 10k behind him who's pitted. So yeah, it looks like at the moment he will get away with it. As we see a new comment. And Yari then now on Chemgossen. So you would imagine this is going to be pretty much as straightforward as it was for Justice a lap ago. Fresh mediums, of course, though, on the Williams, as opposed to the softs on the Ferrari. Wesley's put softs on. Wesley's put soft tyres on. Why would that be? Wesley, what are you doing? Unless we've had some sort of major glitch, Wesley, and yeah, I'm pretty certain. Yes, he went 18 laps, but he was definitely showing us on the soft tyres. He qualified on the soft tyres, so Wesley is now on a new set of soft tyres. He had plenty of new sets because he was out of the lobby for most of qualifying, but why? He needs to pit again. You need to run 2 types of tyre. So this is a pure gamble on getting some track position on these softs and then a safety car. That's the only thing I can think it'd be. Ah, there is one element we have forgotten, and it's that just above the horizon there, and that is the dark clouds coming in. And that's why. Completely forgot about that information beforehand. I suppose it made for a better race, more unpredictable. We have rain now, so that makes sense then as to why Justice came in early to get those softs on and take a bit of an advantage. Probably may have been trying to stretch the mediums to the rain and just didn't quite manage it. So lap 22, and it's definitely raining, and we're probably not going to see anyone in this lap unless they really want to take the gamble. Jeff said something about rain. Jeff says a lot, but he's right on this occasion. Sure, all the drivers now, of course, will be waiting for him to call them in, waiting for that perfect moment to change, and we've got yellow flags, and that's Chemgossen, and that is on the old medium tyres, of course, and he's dropped it through turn 6, so yeah, just, yeah, too much on a damp track, and he's now stuck trying to rejoin safely. So yeah, credit to him for that, but it's really cost him a lot of time. Oh, he's got absolutely zero. He's got a puncture. He's got a right rear puncture. So he's taken the tyres just a little bit too far, taken too much out of them, and now having to go pretty much half the lap, if not more, with a puncture, drifting his way around. So, we've now got Justas on soft tyres that will keep their temperature better than the mediums, and now all of a sudden Shabby has a race on his hands, and we've not even considered the fact that some guys may have carried a little bit more downforce, maybe raised the car a little bit for the wet conditions. And yeah, just 1.2 seconds between the leaders. We've got a proper fight on our hands all of a sudden. We've got Prinz as well, who's maybe back into the running of things. He's just 7/10 off Donkey Dan, so may be able to haul himself back into contention. We've got Brent now as well. Brent's going to be back in things. He's right back on the pack. And yeah, that second stop that we were thinking he's going to make, everyone's now going to have to make. Shamgazan, though, unfortunately, is well out of things if it's a straight run to the flag, because he is only just now entering his pit box. Wesley stuck behind Brent at the moment, but those soft tyres, as we've said, should be an advantage. And Shamgazan going for softs then, so clearly not intermediate territory just yet. Lap 24 about to begin. 24 of 36, there's definitely going to be some intermediates before the end. But when's it going to be? DRS still enabled. As you can see, just as using it down the main straight. It's certainly going to get a little tricky. We've seen a few sideways moments, but Shabby at the moment is maintaining the lead. 3/10 is all the gap is now. We've got Alex in the pits. Is this going to be a set of inters? He obviously has gone a long way on those mediums as well, so as we've seen with Chemgozen needed to get in and get on some fresh tyres, it's going to be a gamble on inters, I'm sure. It is. Had no other real option at that stage. Needed to come in early and put a set of softs on if he was going to make the most of the dry track, but he's gone for a set of inters, so we will soon have an indication of whether it's the right time to change. And it looks a little scrappy in the pit exit. Never the easiest of pit exits anyway, as Phil and Lurch know. But yeah, intermediate tyres. Let's have a look at what sort of traction he's getting. Not much by the looks of things. I think it's possibly a little early, but as we said, didn't really have much option. He'd almost certainly had a puncher as well, but just as round the outside of Shabby, those soft tyres coming into their own now in the damp conditions. He's going to have the inside for turn 2, hand in the air, but you need both of them on the wheel at the moment because this is so tight going through turn 3. Shabby's not out of it yet. He's got the DRS himself and the inside track, but he's got the medium tyres and just leaves enough space for Justice on the outside. Can't get the switchback. Shabby keeping it tight enough, but just covering the inside, the middle of the track. But Justice is going to be up the inside into 6. He's now got the line. Can't force Shabby out wide there, but still going side by side. We're halfway into the lap, and oh, Shabby just gets his nose cut off into the left-hander. Couldn't quite stick it in there, but we've still got a long way to go, and the rain is getting heavier. We're going to be in for some intermediates sometime soon. As you can see from Alex, he's still dropping back. It doesn't appear to be quite ready, but it's definitely getting wetter and wetter. They're still taking a lot of risk off the track there into the final corner. So they're trying to get the ideal line, shallow the corner out, but as it gets wetter, that is definitely not going to be on the cards. No pit stops for either of the top two. We'll keep an eye on the pace of the Haas in P10, see if he starts taking any time out of Wesley ahead of him. That'll be the key indicator as to whether we are ready to change. Shabby staying within 5/10. He's still going to get the DRS then, of course. And who is needing a pit stop fairly soon? Brent is going to hope that this rain comes down pretty sharpish. Otherwise, on those 18-lap-old mediums, he's going to start running out of tyres. So, it's now a Ferrari leads a Williams. Chalkers is, at the moment, yeah, still not going to be affected by that penalty, but this is definitely not over yet. We could very easily see a safety car in these conditions. We've got Brent and Wesley. Unfortunately, we've got a rear-facing camera there, but that comes into handy because Wesley is now ahead on those soft tyres. Brent, yeah, as we've said, really going to start struggling for tyres. He's massively sideways through turn 5. As we said in qualifying, it's easy flat as Alex picks up a penalty for track limits. Easy flat in qualifying, it's anything but that now. He'll turn into one of the trickiest corners on the track on these slick tyres. Got Prinz trying to make his way back through the field now onto the back of Donkey Dan. And Shabby's in the pits. Shabby's in, so we're going to see our first front runner on inters. Is this the right time? Has he got the jump on Justice? By doing this, is it a little bit of a gamble to try and get himself back that track position? We've got We've got both Williams in. They're double stacking down at Williams. Hopefully Yeri can get in. Are they ready for him? Just about. Maybe lost a second or something. But Chalker's in as well. And AlphaTauri carried on. No, Donkey Dan's carried on. Tenkate's in. Prinz is in. So everyone's in except Donkey Dan. And Justus, of course, the race leader. Let's not forget him. But we'll soon find out if it's the right time. 20.4 is the gap. It's coming down. 20.3. It's going to be close. It was about a second between them when Shabby pitted. I think 20 seconds is not going to be enough to get in and out, especially with that tricky pit exit in wet conditions. I think Shabby's probably going to take the lead back here. Yari takes third back from Donkey Dan, who's definitely gone too far. Make sure not to speed. He was all hooked up right on the limit, but he's managed it. No penalty. Inter's going on. Shabby coming up the start-finish straight already, so I'm pretty certain he's going to take back the lead he lost just a couple of laps ago. Yeah, I think by the time Justus has wiggled his way through this tight little pit exit, Shabby is going to have enough time to come around turn 3. I tell you what, it's going to be tighter than we thought. It's going to be a lot tighter than we thought. Justus is going to be ahead, but is Shabby going to have the run at him into turn 4? Tyres up to temperature. No, Justus has kept it. He does, of course, have to get his own tyres up to temperature and get settled in, but it doesn't look to be a problem. He's actually pulling away a little bit from the Williams. So, yeah, it was I think Shabby definitely pitted on the right lap, or maybe the laps were fairly equal in the end. Maybe the ideal time to pit was halfway around the lap in between them, but it's exactly as you were then, just as leading Shabby. Chalker's still in a pretty lonely P4, has now cleared that penalty as well, so he's good to go. No matter what happens now, he will finish where he does on track, providing he stays within track limits. 10K P5, Prinz P6, Brent now back up into P7 and looking for some solid points. Donkey Dan's really lost out with that late pit stop in P8. Alex on the early pit stop has he's probably lost a little himself. P9, Wesley has really lost out with this because he pitted, of course, just a few laps before the rain, so he's found himself back behind Prinz again, so it swings the other way once again for third in the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships. We've got a yellow flag though. That is, I believe, just Chambers and letting cars through, letting the leaders through, as Justus continues to lead Shabby by under a second. We've got quite big gaps then for third and fourth, and throughout the rest of the field, really. Wesley is invisible. Hung around quite a while, didn't he? 29 laps. But yeah, Wesley struggling to get past the Haas at the moment. 1.1 now, the gap up top. So yeah, Justus seems to be doing all he needs to do at the moment. Alex a little wide, a little sideways, but it doesn't look like Wesley's going to be close enough anyway. Still taking a lot of curb. He's been all over the curbs all night, Wesley. So you can see the difference. Alex has been on those tyres now for 4 laps compared to the one Wesley's been on these. And they will have taken a bit of a hammering as well on what was clearly too dry a track for the intermediates. And everything has sort of shuffled itself out again. Yari is winning the prize at the moment for most lonely race. He's got 10 seconds in front, 10 seconds behind as he comes through turn 3 all alone. At the moment, though, his teammate is only looking ahead of him, but he's looking ahead at a Ferrari that is sort of disappearing into the distance. 1.4 now the gap, so your champion at the moment doesn't have enough to take on Justus. As Wesley now still very close to the back of Alex, still behind him. Still can't find a way through. Alex again sort of drifting his way through turn 3. Not quite to the extent we've seen Alonso in 2012, but he was pretty much 90 degrees sideways in the middle of the corner. Wesley too wide there. notice we've finally lost the shabby fastest lap from qualifying. I wonder when that went. Wesley still half a second behind. This is the closest fight on track at the moment. You see now 2 seconds the gap up front. So definitely dropping back a little now, shabby. I think with the championship all wrapped up, he'd take a bit of a risk, but it looks like he's sort of not without that option at the moment. Too far away from just us to think about making any move. Wesley got a little bit sideways. He was just about starting to get within range of the Haas, and got a little bit of oversteer on the exit of the final corner, and has to start all over again. Now, Prince picks up a 3-second time penalty for track limits, and that will put Brent very much within range, 3 seconds off him at the moment. Wesley again struggling with the rear end through turn 3. Seems to be a common theme at the moment. So on lap 31 of 36, we are sort of struggling for any on-track action. We'll go back to the leader as he comes into turn 1. 2.4 now the gap. All looks pretty plain sailing. Needs to make sure, obviously, he doesn't get a penalty himself. But on lap 32 of 36, chances of a safety car are pretty slim. So it looks like the rain maybe didn't bring any drama at all. It maybe sort of dampened things down a bit. Fizzled out towards the end so far. We've got still 4 laps remaining though, so you never know what might happen. We'll take another look at the positions gained, wherever the hell it is. Somewhere in amongst all this. There we go. So yeah, just as of course up 2, qualified on those medium tyres. Both Williams down 1 from first and second on the grid. Chalkers stays where he started. 10k at the moment, up 5. Prinz 6th where he started. Brent down 2. Donkey down and Alex still in P8 and P9. Wesley, crucially for his championship, down 3. Shamgozan up 1 and Invisible down 3. Out of the race very early on, unfortunately. 2 stops has been the way to go. Alex on that 1 stop, medium to Inter. And the rain, yeah, didn't quite come early enough for him. Penalties as well. Donkey Down's got 8 seconds. That could really knock him back towards the end. .1 now the gap. Brent's closed that gap quite significantly to Prince. Prince made a mistake. No damage on the front of the Mercedes. But potentially a little bit of a fight coming. We've got Wesley still 4 tenths behind Alex as he comes into turn 1 for the 33rd time. I believe we have a comment, do we? Or was it a new viewer? It doesn't look like it. So, Wesley still in P10. Will pick up a point for his troubles, but as it stands, I believe, and Donkey Down picks up another penalty. Yeah, Alex and Wesley both equal on 3 seconds at the moment, so it's all about the on-track fight as it stands. We'll go back to Brent, who's definitely closing in. He's now only 0.8 behind Prinz, who seems to be struggling. Running a little bit wide, couldn't hit the apex there. Through Magullo. Again, a pretty straightforward corner in the dry. It's pretty lethal in the wet. Kimi Räikkönen found that out, of course, in the controversial 2003 race when he was awarded the win, and then 2 weeks later at Imola had to hand it over to Fisichella. It's just as a result of when the race was stopped and how sort of what lap they were on as the race was stopped, as to whether the count back of 2 laps put Fisichella or Räikkönen in P1. As Jari picks up a 3-second time penalty, which will not make any difference because he is 8.7 clear of Chalkers. That gap has come down a little bit though, and it's increased to Shabby ahead of him. So he's got damage. He's got damage. He's must have been off track because he's not been anywhere near any other cars. So that is significant damage as well. With 3 laps remaining, well, 2 laps remaining as they come across the line, and especially with that penalty, Chalkers could be on for a podium here. Brent as well, now less than half a second behind Prince. We are going to see a little bit of action in the final couple of laps. It's not going to be for P1 and 2 by the looks of things, but it's action nevertheless. Brent, can he get a good run out of this final corner? Prince again struggling to just hit the apex. Brent now with more of the overtake. They've both got it engaged. No DRS, of course. You've got to do it the old-fashioned way in wet conditions. Try and get a little bit of a slipstream. He's pulling out actually for some clear vision, and can't do anything about him into turn 1 on this lap. And Yari is 7.3 now, 2 laps remaining. Significant damage on the front. Is Chalkers going to... Oh, that's big understeer through the right-hander. That's where he'll really struggle through those sort of medium speed corners. And Chalkers, I'm pretty sure, as he's now gained a second, will soon start to realise there may be something wrong with the Williams ahead, and might turn things up again if he was considering coasting to the end of the race. Leaders start the final lap, 36 of 36. This rain could definitely have brought more drama, but it's just about starting to bring us some at the end of the race. Can Brent do anything about Prince? This is the closest he's been. Just struggling to follow through there. Had to get out of the throttle. Is he going to be close enough this time? A little bit of oversteer. He's got a lot more overtake than Prince, so he has got a chance on this final lap. Either into turn 1 or turn 4, that's the most likely. Prince at the moment just staying ahead, but he's only got 11% battery. Brent has double that as we come through the Senna S for the final time. Prince though gets a good run through turn 2 by the looks of things. Oh, massive slide though through 3. That may just put Brent within range. It's not quite going to be enough again though, is it? Brent not using overtake. You'd think he probably would have through that. But your leader though is out of the final corner and about to cross the line. May have finished second in the championship, but he is P1 today. He's going to come across the line for Ferrari to win the final race of the C1 season. Clear of Shabby in second place, just as wins the RLH season closer. Shabby, yeah, your pole sitter, comes across the line in P2. And this is going to be tight, isn't it? Chalkers, I think, is just about going to close that. He definitely knows that there's something wrong now. As he comes through the final corner, he's just about going to get it within the 3-second margin, isn't he? 2.8 as they come up the hill. I think unless he has some sort of disaster, he's going to be within that 3-second margin and come across the line. P3 he does. Chalkers with a podium to close his season in the best possible way. The top 2 had checked out today, but yeah, Yari unfortunately second on the grid to 4th in the end, and 10K crosses the line. Brent did get it, we missed it, but I think it was maybe done on penalties in the end. Let's have a look. They've already cancelled out. We'll have to look on the timing screen. So we missed a few bits at the end there, but we'll close them out as we come through the timing. So driver of the day, 10K. Okay. Didn't see much of him, but we'll yeah, okay, we'll take that. Just us then. Final podium of the season, and it's the top step. Holds the trophy aloft and then sprays the champagne with the Williams of Shabby, but it's not the other Williams on the other side of him. It is the Alfa Romeo of Chalkers. Not sure if that's his first podium in C1, but it could help him up quite a way through the championship. He wasn't too far behind a lot of the drivers in the minor positions before this. Obviously, yeah, as we said, starting in C2, so not done the full season, and I believe that is his first podium in C1, so got that in just before the end of the season. Just Ascent with fastest lap as well on a 1:8.4 takes the win. Shabby, Chalkers, Yari, 10K, Brent got it on penalties in the end by the looks of things. Prinz picked up a 3-second
penalty towards the end. Alex picked up P8. Donkey Dan dropping down with those penalties of his own. Wesley P9, and Chem goes a lap down. I mean, that had that spin, well, with the puncher in the middle of the race. Invisible finished in the wall pretty early on. I'm not sure if there was contact with another car. I think there may have been at turn 1. So that's another season of the top tier of RLH closed out. As we say, there is the Race of Champions to consider next week, and I believe Prinz has now booked his place in that with P3. So hopefully we get all the top 3 drivers from each tier attending for one final run at Season 8. So thank you for joining us. Hopefully provided an entertaining race, and we still have a couple of races to close out of this season. We've got C5 and C6 tomorrow. I believe C6 are also racing next Thursday, as they had a postponed race in the middle of the season, so they've got 2 races to go. But obviously with the final races of the season, plenty of championships being closed out, so yeah, C5 and C6 tomorrow. Be sure to tune into that at 7 PM. So yeah, that's all from me. Thanks for joining us, and goodbye.